Welcome to Bitching and Moaning, the podcast where we talk shit, spill the tea, and say all the things you're definitely thinking about but shouldn't say out loud.
We're your hosts. I'm Stephanie with Patricia, and together we're your weekly dose of sass, laughs, and just the right amount of bad decisions.
From sexy stories to petty rants, nothing's off limits. So grab your wine or your drink of choice, loosen your morals, and let's get into it.
Because if we're not bitching,
we're probably moaning. Welcome to Bitchin and Moanin.
Hey everybody!
We're excited to start our new year.
Yay, year two!
Year two!
Here we come! Woo!
We hope you enjoyed the anniversary special. We had a great time with our special guests and being at Hideaway Pizza and having some drinks and just kind of reminiscing about, you know, the past year, what we've gone through. And hopefully you guys are enjoying the little snippet and videos that we're sending out as well. We're going to continue to do that. You might see one or two a day, if that, just because there's so many that we'd love to share. We also have some hidden ones involved that, like, if you happen to see the Harry Jowsey one, I don't think we showed you guys that video from our...
No, we did it before. That was fun.
Yeah, but we have some other little fun things that we haven't shared, and we might just share those just for the fun of it.
Yeah, we're back in the studio, which is great because it was a little hot when we did the anniversary.
Oh, yeah.
And so it feels nice and cool in here. And yeah, it's this is like our worst month, and no rain, no. What is it? What am I looking for? No cool inside. It's just going to be
hundreds every day.
It's like you check and go, is it even close to 100 or is it still 110? So
yep.
Love being in the studio.
So we're back in. We have wine today.
Yay!
In fact, we have the same wine.
Yes.
I think we went a little fruity today. We have Barefoot Pink Moscato, which
peach.
is peach Moscato. And it's a peachy flavor, obviously. These are very, very reasonably priced. You can get them at any grocery store, Walmart. I don't know about Target. I don't really ever shop wine at Target, but you might be able to get it there. But yeah, it's very light. It's not too sweet, but it's pretty good. So you can see our glasses are a little full.
Yeah.
Because we've got a lot to talk about. So cheers to our next year.
Yay. Oh my God, it's so amazing.
That's definitely your realm.
This is my. See, you were thinking of me.
I was thinking of you.
And I need a full glass. It's been a long week at my other job, my day job, if you want to call it that. This is more like my, I don't know,
fun job.
Yeah, my fun job. So yeah, I needed a full glass for that too. So
good. So we are going to get into our topic. What's our topic today?
So, just kind of give you a little background. I think y'all hopefully saw the little clip where we went to go see DJ Pauly D, who was amazing. A great entertainer, fun show. If you've never seen him, go at least once. He is just so happy all the time, fun to watch.
Yeah.
However,
so let's go back a little. So we are going to talk about DJ Pauly D and how much fun we had. But I think we were going to try to cover the topic of when people go to events, whether it's a sporting event, a concert, an outdoor festival, and even, these huge, like Lollapalooza and these big events, like when people start to fight in them, and it has become so relevant that it just happens all the time now. And I see it a lot in Austin because I guess on my social media, everything I follow, because one of my kids lives down there, I see a lot of stuff. And I used to go there a lot back in the day. And you can go to an area called 6th Street. And it was fun. They closed off the streets. You'd walk around, and go bar hopping, listen to some music, maybe have some food. And then, that's it. You dance in the street if you went to whatever. It's not like that anymore. No. It's like they started out shooting people. There was just a shooting there not a few months back. Kids go out there, and I think some of them are just looking to fight, but then also the alcohol on top of it. So you'll see some people fighting, and then out of nowhere, like strangers just start jumping in and fight. And I'm like, what is going on? And I just picked Austin because that's what, again, pops up on my feed. Another area for us is here in Fort Worth area, we have something called 7th Street. And that used to be really cool to go to. And they would allow, I say that lightly, but they would allow people to, drink as you're walking, to bar or whatever. Texas laws are really strange, but you can go. Well, again, bad crowds started coming in there. Now they fight, knives come out, shootings, and then so they have to ramp up the police.
Right.
And then you can't take drinks out of the bars anymore. You have to have your drink inside. But you see that as well. People just like pouncing on each other. And
in Dallas, there used to be Deep Ellum was a really cool and fun place to go, and it's just changed over time, and it's the same kind of thing where there's shootings. And my daughter actually was down there one weekend, my youngest daughter, and she has an office down there, has to do with the music industry. And she happened to be in her office, and then here comes extra police. It was 4th of July, extra police, and then all of a sudden there's mace because people got out of hand, and it's just like it just takes one person to be a little over rowdy or something, and then it's a chain reaction, and then it turns into stuff like that, fights and shootings, everything.
I saw something today, nonetheless. Being a Chicagoan, every year they have what they call the crosstown rivalry game, and it's the White Sox versus the Cubs. And you would be surprised that there is a huge, huge rivalry, even though they're in the same city. But there are Cub fans and there are White Sox fans. And every year they do this, game. And just the other day they did it. And these people started fighting. And you can see, the arguing starting. And then all of a sudden, everybody starts jumping in. And this poor guy, he was kind of a heavy-set guy. He was just sitting there, and a young kid just was punching and punching and punching and punching. And I'm like, oh, my God. The guy really couldn't go anywhere. But people were falling down the bleachers, and I'm like, oh, my God, why? Why? Over a stupid game,
Was that guy caught in the middle just because
he was
sitting?
He was yelling, too.
Oh, he was yelling. Okay.
And then I think the guys below him threw a drink, and it just got messy. I sent you the video. So, but anyways, look at Astro World with Travis Scott. That's my son's favorite artist.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that documentary, it is crazy.
Very sad. Yeah. And he is known to pump people up. Get excited, get excited, get excited. And so people are, then you got people pushing and shoving. And, you're not only having adults in there, you got kids that are going to see these concerts and they don't know what to do, and they're being shoved and pushed. And even if they don't think they're being shoved and pushed, the way they're dancing, they're being pushed, So, so we kind of want to talk about that and some of the reasons why some of that stuff may happen. So I did a little research on it. We have our own personal stories that we're going to share with you, but I thought I'd do a little research and kind of tell you some of the facts of why that ends up happening. And kind of what I was saying about the Cubs and the White Sox, there's very strong emotions.
Yes.
People are very passionate about their teams, their football teams, their soccer teams, when soccer games, a lot of times those people get into a lot of fights too, and they don't mess around. But football teams, the Cowboys have the rivalry of the Eagles. Oh my gosh. So people are calling names and, F this and F you. And if you are very passionate about it, your emotions can be really high if your team is losing, and you have a short fuse. I'm a Bears fan. Our rival is Green Bay. So, of course, Green Bay Packer fans and Chicago Bears fans do not like each other at all. I went to a game last December, and everybody, I was chanting, F Green Bay and all that, but like wasn't like in anybody's face. It was
and
just
you're probably laughing.
I am, and I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but it was just a great game anyways.
Yeah.
But so some of the emotions come out. The us versus them mentality. That can go with, say you're, out at an event and you have, I'm just using examples. Say you have a bunch of Hispanic people that are enjoying their music and, sometimes they put it a little bit louder. They want to salsa, they want to dance. And then you have like a little white family that is very conservative and doesn't like that kind of music or thinks it's too loud, or they're interrupting their picnic, and us against them kind of thing. And that happens a lot. You see that like in parks and recreational areas like that, and they're just like, hey, we're just having a lunch and music, we're not hurting anybody, but and again, these are just examples. Don't be coming for me for all that shit. It can happen with black families and Jewish families. It doesn't matter. I'm just giving you examples. But that perceived disrespect, that happens a lot, especially with like, it can happen with women, obviously, but it can happen with men a lot. Like, oh, you think you're, cooler than I am, or what, your dick's bigger than mine, and then the macho-ness comes out.
I was going to say the macho-ness comes out. And it's like, to me, I think like the fuck you, it's more like, it's not at you per se, but it's more like just a response to something.
Yeah.
And then people are like, or fuck you bitch or whatever. Well, somebody that bitch is a trigger word for might all of a sudden get in somebody's face because now they're triggered, and then it escalates because they took it personal.
Yeah. Or like you just mentioned, if a guy is yelling at a woman and her significant other is like trying to stick up for her because you've now disrespected my wife, and it's my job to protect you, So, so that can be part of it. Crowd anonymity, when you have like huge crowds, people may feel less accountable for their behavior. So, hey, nobody knows me here, and I could just start pushing and shoving, and I'm going to get myself to the front of the line. I don't care what happens because I don't know any of these people, and I'll just, that happens.
Well, I think too, like people get a little bit more courage to do something because I'm never going to see these people again. And if I'm all riled up and have my emotions in it because my team lost or whatever, then they join in when other people are fighting, and then they just ditch when they feel like they want to. But they're able, nobody's going to remember who they are. Everybody's got the same jersey on or whatever. Right. So, I think that whole getting more courage in that atmosphere too. Yeah.
Existing anger. So you might have people that have bad tempers anyways, right? They have a bad temper. They have no patience. They're not going to put up with it. They're always going to be right. They're going to take care of business. If anybody says one word or even looks at you or anything like that, they're ready to go, right?
Yep.
You could have, this has happened to me in my life. You could have a couple, you get into a fight before you leave the house.
Yep.
And now you're both in bad moods, and you're like, all right, whoever says something that you don't like, you are going to lash out at that person. You know what I mean? And it has nothing to do with that person. It's because you left home pissed off for whatever reason, and now your night's all fucked up.
Well, and you could have like road rage. Somebody's following on the freeway, or somebody cut you off, and then maybe you're the one that's chasing them down, and then by the time you get to wherever you're going, you need a drink, right? Yeah. So then it's like, not only are you pissed off, now you're adding fuel to the fire, so it's like a combo. So it's like anything that happens before, it's like, check your emotions in that mental state and go, okay, is it really worth going into wherever I'm going that I paid good money for to be all riled up just to make it miserable for me and everybody else around me? So
when you said road rage, that just made me think of just last week we had an incident here in the Fort Worth area, DFW area, where two people on their way to work, one girl, it was a lady and a man in separate cars, and he thought she was tailgating him, and he got pissed because it was early in the morning. They were going to work, and he got pissed. And when she came around him, he shot right into her car and killed her.
Oh my God!
That was on I-20. Yeah.
Oh,
What's really crazy is
hear
like
that.
I was on I-20. They were going westbound, and I was actually going eastbound at the same time.
I remember you sent me that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was tied to that shooting.
Yes.
Okay.
I was going to get my hair done, and my hairdresser is over on that side of town. And I was driving, and all of a sudden, you know, like the Amber Alerts. I'm sure everybody's heard them. They're like, wow. Some people turn them off on their phones.
Yeah.
For some reason, I have it on mine. But I also get other alerts, right? So this alert comes on, you know, Texas alert, and then it says fatality, and like everybody in front of me just like kind of slammed on their brakes. I'm like, what is that? Because I was trying to see what it was saying. All I saw was Texas alert and fatality, and then I look over, and the whole highway next to me is closed down, and that's where all the cops were and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And so when I finally parked, I looked at it, because we almost all wrecked because it was so loud, and I think, you know, people were also looking at the lights and all that. But then I get to my hairdresser, I'm like, oh my God, that means like somebody died, and I had no idea what had happened. And so then I heard on the news later, and the guy, they finally ended up catching him, and he just told him, he's just like, she was tailgating me, and I didn't like it. And he just pulled out a gun and shot her. And I think she was like a teacher. And it was very sad. Very
it's just
sad.
so sad, very nonchalant now. His anger's all gone from that. And I was like, well, she was tailgating me, like that makes it okay or something.
No, I guess so.
That's crazy. Ugh.
So, so then I guess one of probably the biggest reasons is alcohol or drugs or both.
Yep.
When you mix the combination of somebody maybe bringing the anger to the event, or they're drunk, they're pre-gaming and they're drunk, or they're drunk at the event, and then something maybe they thought happened, or something minute happens, and then all of a sudden there's a fight. You looked at me the wrong way, you know, you bumped into me, whatever the case may be. There's a fight on. And again, people jump in, and people just, you know, they don't even know why people are fighting. They're just jumping in, you know, and that is crazy. So I think that if you're at the point of that with alcohol, you should consider maybe not drinking so much. And I have a few personal stories. But do you have a story you want to tell?
So I was at an event recently, and it's very, very crowded. And we had gotten there pretty early, so we could have stood anywhere we wanted to go. And we ended up kind of off to the side. Well, as it got busier and busier, as the main act's going to come on, there were, people trying to get to the middle and to the front. Hey, my friends are up here. And it's like, you know, it's like you're not going to get in the middle. You're going to need to walk around and try and find them and come in from the front, right?
When you go to concerts or events that have no seats, that's where you see a lot of the pushing and shoving. I mean, even when there are seats, like the sporting events, people are pushing each other down the benches and stuff like that. But when you are in the crowds where there's no seats,
standing room only.
Yes. Think about it. You have to get there early. You're standing for 4, 5, 6 hours.
God forbid you have to go to the bathroom.
I know, right?
Back into your front row spot.
Or you have to get a drink, you know. So people are already agitated, you know.
So it was pretty full. So there was like a guy and his girlfriend, and just kind of said, hey, you need to go around. They're like, okay. Well, there were 2 girls that did the same thing. And so talking to them, it's like, you're not going to get up there, whatever. And so they started to move, and then I guess brushed the person that was in front, and the other person turned around and thought they were shoving them. So then it was kind of like a whole shoving match, and then the room spread where this was happening, and I just kind of looked at the person and said, "It's okay. They didn't mean to do that."
Yeah.
And then, but it was on. It was like all they heard was wah 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 wah, and then they took off, and then it turned into this whole thing. And then I was just mortified for that girl. She was with her other friend, and I was just like, "I'm so sorry that happened to you." You know, it's like I know you didn't mean anything by it, but it was just again, I think there was. By that time, even we were having a good time, being happy drunks or whatever.
Yeah.
But that just happens to people where it's their perception of what happens. And then maybe somebody bumped into them that bumped the other person a little harder.
Yeah, I think there was a misunderstanding too. I think when the girls were trying to get into the middle and we're like, okay, you guys ain't getting in there. But we were saying it nicely, right? We're talking to them. I think the person thought we were arguing with them and fighting with them.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, it was loud.
Yeah,
that could have been.
That's what, and so that person
makes sense.
So that person was trying to protect us in their perspective, and that person pushed somebody really, really hard. Then she fell on the floor, but she fell into a crowd.
Yeah.
And then the person who was there doing all this, like her significant other, was like thinking that somebody hurt her.
Yeah, so it's like a trickle down effect.
It was. And so it was a big mess.
It was unfortunate.
It was very unfortunate. And it's kind of funny because her and my husband are a lot alike. Like, I'm one to go in and like, okay, stop, knock it off, whatever. And they freeze.
Yeah.
So it's funny because I was watching an episode of some documentary thing, and they said, there's fight or flight, and there's freeze. And her and my husband freeze.
Well, we talked about that. We'll digress based on other experiences and other things. It's a very real thing where you feel like you're paralyzed and you don't know what to do.
And so I say to my husband, he's like, "What should I do?" I'm like, "Go help," because like I can get in the middle of a fight, but it was a man fight, and that's not where I should be. If it was two girls fighting, we separate that. But in a man fight, it's probably not smart to do that. I could yell and stuff, which I was yelling, but it was kind of sad and disappointing because I hate to see people get to that point for whatever reason, even if you know them or you don't know them. If I saw people that I didn't know fighting, I'd probably go over there and say, knock it off, stop, because you spend so much money to get there, because you have to buy your ticket, you're buying drinks, if you have children you have to get a babysitter, an Uber driver, whatever, food if you go out to dinner, all this stuff, and then all of a sudden boom, it's done in a minute, and I'm like, oh man. And so I did definitely feel bad, 100% bad for the people that were involved with all of it, because I know for a fact that they weren't happy about the situation and embarrassed and, wished it didn't happen. But that's not the only situation I've been in like that. And I kind of wanted to...
That's the most recent one for me.
Yeah. But I had a similar situation happen to me a long time ago. Rob, my husband who passed away, we used to go see Kenny Chesney every year. And those are big concerts, they last a long time. They have tailgating, it's like a football game. You have tailgating, so you're drinking all hours before the concert starts, and then there's several acts, and then he comes out. So, you're feeling pretty good, right? And we always got good seats. We were always on the floor, whatnot. And so we were there, and it was at the end of the night, and by that time, you're getting a little tired and you're like, okay, I'm ready to go, but let's finish up, right? Well, who's around you because you're standing around them for 4 or 5 hours, right? Mm-hmm. So people started leaving and whatnot. So the seats were empty behind us. Well, some young kids snuck their way down to, because again, it was towards the end of the concert.
And you were on the floor.
We were on the floor, yeah. So they snuck their way down to the seats behind us, right? Again, these little wooden seats, right? And, we were still dancing, having a good time. Well, they were so drunk. And being obnoxious and jumping around and whatever. And the one guy had a beer, and every time he'd jump around, like he was spilling beer on me.
Yeah.
And like the first time I'm like, oh, all right, we're good, But then the second time, it like went down. I'm like, I turned around and I said, hey, can you guys knock it off? Just have a good time, but just stop with the beer shit, And then the next thing you know, they keep going, and he falls into me. Oh my God, I was so pissed. And I wasn't drunk. I was just livid because we paid a shitload of money for those seats, no matter whether it's the beginning of the concert or the end. You paid a shitload. You've been there all friggin' day.
Yeah.
And I just turned around and I shoved him, and he went flying back and knocked the seats over. And I said, I already told you to knock your shit off, And then they're like, okay, yeah, and then they get up and they leave.
It's not funny, but I like your impression of it.
Because they were stupid as drunks.
Yeah.
I'm like, control your shit,
and they probably didn't even remember that they had already done it 2 other times before that. So.
Well, and that's another thing I have a hard time with. It's a trigger for me, and I'm going to explain why. But making the excuse of, I was drunk and I don't remember, that's great for you. But everybody who was there and who it affected remembers 100%.
Yeah, they do remember. Yeah.
So I remember that story, whether this little punk was drunk and he didn't remember it at all. I did. I remembered you spilled beer down my shirt. I remember you pushed me. I remember all of that, And I would just like people to take accountability.
Yeah.
Like, you were drunk and you said stupid things or you did stupid things, and don't use the excuse, well, I was drunk.
Yeah.
I don't care if you were drunk. Just say, gosh, I said those things. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I should not have said that. I said it and I don't remember it. I don't give a shit about not remembering it. You said it. You affected me. You affected whoever was around us. And I don't know how I could be around you if you can't control yourself like that.
Yeah.
And
I think for me, it's like, I remember being like that, not necessarily in a big event or whatever, but getting to the point where I had went beyond my limits.
Oh, yeah.
And, just on a personal level, and I'll admit it, I drove home a few times
yeah.
where I wake up the next morning going, how did I get there? But as I've aged, I realized where that little line is, where you're in happy land, and the next thing, right there, you don't want to go over because then you're like stupid, right? So I think a lot of that with the alcohol is you have to be very aware of where your line is, and once you get there, get a water or something.
Just stop.
So you don't go to the point where it becomes, oh, I didn't know I did that. I didn't remember.
Yeah.
So I think that's you have to. You have to be aware of that.
So I have a pretty deep story. Should I say this? Should I talk about the story?
Well, let me do another story about just alcohol, and then another an event thing, and then you can think about it. So, one of my exes, I don't ever say his name, but he had an issue with being at places and getting drunk, and we had went to what was called the Margarita Ball.
Oh yeah.
Here in Dallas, it is a fundraiser for like kids' toys at Christmas,
charities,
and it's a charity thing, and you get all dressed up like Cinderella. I went and got my hair done, my nails and everything. Had this beautiful long dress on, and was so excited to be there. Well, for him, I found out very quickly that tequila made him a mean drunk, and he just kept drinking, and then it was to the point where it was just embarrassing, and it was horrible. So here we are in this big, beautiful event, and then he broke out in what looked to be trying to be some break dancing or something. And nobody else is dancing, right? And I was just mortified. And again, it's like he crossed the line.
I don't remember the breakdancing. That's funny.
You might have been in like, I don't know.
It's several levels. So.
Yeah. So, and
funny.
I was just mortified. So again, it's one of those where it's like, everybody would have remembered that.
Yeah.
And it's like, he wouldn't remember it, but you did it. It was embarrassing.
Yeah.
There were people around us. You could have bumped into somebody. So luckily it didn't turn out to a brawl, but I have a feeling that it could have.
Yeah.
Because whenever he would drink that, he was a mean drunk on tequila. And for the alcohol stuff, I think that's one thing too, is there's just some alcohols that people make, that makes them mean.
Yeah, I heard dark liquors make people meaner.
So I think
I don't know if that's true. I just heard that.
In my experience, it seems to be that way. So all these events, if you know liquor's bad for you, stick with beer or something. So I think that can get your emotions, your anger, a lot of things with that all riled up too.
Yeah.
And so it was at an event, but it was one of those where I froze, didn't know what to do, like knock your shit off or whatever. But it was one of those where I guess in my mind thought maybe he would recognize that.
Not when people are drunk.
And so so that was one thing. And then the other thing at an event was, again, standing room only. And it was at that same one that we were at, and a guy just not knowing his personal space and was dancing, didn't have a drink, but just dancing and kept bumping into me. And you, Mitch, I freeze, right? I don't like to do anything. I don't like confrontation. But I'm kind of proud of myself because he was kind of bumping into me. So I just got my hand up and was kind of doing this and pushing my elbow, fist pumping and getting kind of my arm in his back. And he would kind of look around and then he would keep dancing. But eventually he just him and his friends were slowly moving to the middle. And there was a girl next to me. She was short. I'm like 5'3", and she had been like 5 foot or 5'1". She was a little thing. And he was right in front of her, and I'm like, what the hell is this? So, again, your awareness, alcohol, all of that, just, he's bumping into people. He could have knocked somebody down. But, that was my way of not starting.
You're getting a little bit more out there.
It's like a little subtle hint, and then it's like I could just get into the music and look the other way or whatever. So I was trying to, make him realize that, dude, chill out for a minute, or be aware. You don't have your own personal dance space that has your name on it type thing. So that was my way of kind of combating that without it turning into a big brawl, which I probably would have ran the other way from anyway. But at the same time, I was proud of myself.
I was proud of you too. Yeah,
that was a pretty big step for me. So that's my two things.
So my my story with alcohol started when I was a teenager. I had dated somebody for a very long time. He was in college and I was in high school, and I was young, thought that was I was going to marry him and be together.
Now that's something else, right? The age span.
Yeah, well,
but back in the day it was a little different.
Yeah, because I was.
Were you 16?
I was.
You were 16, and he was probably 19 or 20.
Yeah.
And. But anyway,
different time, right? Our parents knew each other. I don't know. I guess I didn't think about that. That's funny. That's scary, but that's funny. Yes, different time. But anyway, so he was away at college a lot and whatever. And so we ended up living together here in Texas. And again, he was a mean drunk. He's always been a very mean drunk, and I never really knew what mean. I knew people got mad because I had seen other people get mad drinking. But like when you're in a relationship, you're just like, oh well, he'll be fine tomorrow, and he'll say he's sorry for whatever, and then we just move on, and then it'll happen again, and he'll just say, and that's just how our relationship was, and I put up with it because I was so young. I didn't know anything. Yeah, that's all I knew. And then we ended up living together. I find out he had cheated on me the entire time we were together while he was in college. And so I was like, oh shit, then now I need to do something right. So I need to leave. I need to find another place to live. So I figure out, I'm going to go live somewhere else. And he, before that, he was trying to put Post-it notes all over the apartment. I'm sorry. It was all over. And I was like, no, I couldn't do it. At that point, I was old enough to go, I don't need to do this. So I was leaving, and I had to give him the key back, and I put the key on the kitchen counter. Mind you, we were in a 1-bedroom apartment. It was tiny. You just imagine 800 square feet or whatever it was, tiny little place. You know, you walk and turn, and you're in one room, and you walk and turn, and you're in another room. So it wasn't very big. So he's like, I want the key, and I said, it's on the kitchen table right there. I didn't want to have anything else to do. I just wanted to go. And he blocked me in the doorway, and he was 6'5", and I'm just like, I just want to go, just take the key, I want to go. And he's like, I want you to hand it to me. And I was just like, I'm not going to hand it to you. So I was trying to get out, and the next thing you know, he's hitting me. Like, he was hitting me. It was really bad. We tussled quite a bit.
I'm sorry that happened to you.
Ended up, thank you, in the kitchen, because again, it's just like 5 feet away, you know, from the door. And I just grabbed a knife, and I said, get the fuck away from me, or I will use this. And so he backed off, and I left, and I just threw the knife down, and I left. But of course I had bruises and bumps and whatever. And we lived in a subdivision, so apartment complex. So I went to one of our friends' house because I didn't know where to go. You know, I was so far from home, and I didn't have anywhere to go. So I went to one of our friends' house, and he's like, oh my God, you know, did he do that to you? I'm like, yeah. So we called the police, and typical, I'm telling you, typical Southern police officers try to talk me out of pressing charges, because at that time the guy I was with, he had a government job. So he's like, well, you know, he could probably lose his job, and you know, you'll have to go to court, and you might even have to hire a lawyer, and you sure you want to do this? And remember, I'm like 19, I'm 20 years old, so I don't know any better. I have no family here, and I'm just like, you know, it was just really the pressure of, do I really want to do this? You know, because you know, it's your word against his, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's
so in the South, a lot of that is still like that here, but we do have great police officers here. Don't get me wrong, but this is what happened in my experience, and so I finally just said, okay, I won't file charges and whatever. So then I moved out, and that was the end of that. But with that experience and the whole years that I was together with him, I learned that, like, the alcohol is a trigger for me. I know everybody's like, that word trigger is used so often. Yeah. Whatever you want to call it, it bugs the fuck out of me when somebody is drunk and they're mean. And I cannot be around that. I don't like that. That just... It's hard for me to be around that. I don't want to. I'd like to just go out and have a good time and have fun. And if you want to drink, let's drink and have fun, but then know your limits so that we're not going to jail, you know? Because I am going to protect you. If you're my friend or you're my relative, I'm going to protect you, so we'll all go to jail, you know? But anyways, so... I spoke to my husband about this, about talking about this, and he said it was fine because this is part of our lives and we're open with you guys. But when we got together, we drank wine. He loved vodka, different flavored vodkas or whatever. So we would go to wineries and we'd go have drinks and cocktails and whatever. And then after a while, you know, I'm a happy drunk. I'm fun and talkative and, you know, lovey-dovey and whatever.
I think you noticed that on 4th of July, how we are. And we'll admit it, we were drunk that night.
We were
living our best
fun.
life. So that's how we are.
Yeah,
Not everybody's
happy.
That way. Yeah.
So I think progressively started to get where I noticed he was not a fun drunk. And it got to a point where it just wasn't good anymore. And we had to have a conversation about, okay, we can't do this anymore. Yeah. I don't want, it's a fight. It's no fun. It could be dangerous. I don't want it anymore. And he gave up drinking. And I'm proud to say my husband has not drank in, let's see, it's coming up almost on 2 years.
That's so amazing.
I'm so proud of him.
And he quit like cold turkey.
Cold turkey.
It wasn't like, here, I'm going to ease off. And no, it was like you said, this is done. And he's like, okay, my marriage is more important to me than what's in this can.
And we did, like, when I kind of started to see what was happening, he's like, okay, I'll just have 2 drinks. And then he couldn't stop. And my husband's not an alcoholic by any means. He was just like enjoying himself and didn't know when to stop, you know? And then whatever the chemicals in his brain, you know, some people are mean and some people are not. And for him, when he got past a point, it wasn't fun anymore. And so he tried doing it like, oh, here, I'll just have a couple, but then that wouldn't work. And then, something happened and I'm just like, that's it. I can't do this anymore. And so for our marriage to continue to work, like we both wanted it to, he said, I'm done. Yeah. And he did. He went cold turkey, and he did miss like this, like just having a glass of wine for dinner or having a beer during the football game, you know. But what's really nice nowadays is there's non-alcoholic everything. Non-alcoholic wine, Messinohoff, you know, that's my favorite winery. They have, it's like juice, whatever, but I think the feeling of having something in your hand, his favorite is the Athletics non-alcoholic beers. You got a beer in your hand, you know, Ultra, Coors, Dos Equis, so many. And plus, there's non-alcoholic like tequila and vodka. I don't know how that works because I don't know
how they do that because
I don't either.
If it tastes just like it, how is it not in there?
I have no idea. We haven't tried those because he likes the beer stuff, but or he'll have a mocktail, you know. So I'm very, very proud of him, and it's made a huge difference when we go out.
We might need to have a little celebration for him.
When 2 years in December will be 2 years.
Yeah, I just think in general for anybody who's been down that road and makes that decision, every day is like a victory sometimes until you kind of get to the point where you finally don't miss it, but it's a struggle to get to that, and to be sober for a long period of time is pretty amazing.
And especially because we all go out drinking. We do. We go to happy hour. We go whatever. And you know, sometimes, like, I'll give you an example. We're going to France to see Celine Dion.
I'm so jealous. And I'm to stay home.
Yeah.
So I will be pouting in my house while she's living her best life.
I'll take videos, but we're going to Paris, and I thought we'd just kind of pop in, go to the concert, and leave. He's like, no, let's stay for a little while. I'm like, don't tell me twice. And so I was trying to find things to do around Paris, you know, little excursions and whatnot. And then he's like, well, wait, what about the wineries and the champagne? Like, I love champagne. The Champagne region. I'm like, you know, I didn't want to put that on. I said to him, I didn't want to put that on you because I don't want you to feel uncomfortable while I'm sitting there drinking all the champagne or wine. I thought we'd just do other things. He's like, I want to go to the Champagne region. I want to see it. He's like, you know, I'm sure they have non-alcoholic stuff. And I'm like, okay, so we actually are going to the Champagne region of France, which I'm super excited about. And we're staying in a castle, so that's kind of neat. So
see, I think that's more. It's not about the winery; it's about where you're going. The winery is there, so it's like just the scenery, the architecture, just the beauty of that area. And it's like the wine's kind of down here. You know, it's more about just being there and just absorbing every moment of that country. So again, I'm so proud of him, and I love him for, you know, really making that effort for our marriage. And so I'm very proud of him. And so that was kind of like, you know, my story, why I get like very sensitive about when stuff like that happens. Another incident happened recently. We were at a family dinner, and somebody went off and they didn't remember what they were saying. And it's like, I was drunk. I don't remember. I'm like, I don't care that you were drunk and you don't remember. You said terrible things in front of the family. What, you know, apologize. And, you know, so that, you know, I'm working on it. I could forgive people. I really can. I just need some time. Because my kids were at this particular function, and that was just like, oof, I need a minute for that. But I guess that's why it triggers me, because of the experience I had when I was younger. And and don't get me wrong, I've said stupid things and done stupid things, but I never
purposely like hurt anybody.
It wasn't hurtful.
Yeah, I don't.
You didn't forget.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I can't forget sometimes, but it's things that like I say to my husband, like, aliens are living in my body right now, you know. But it's me. I'm not calling my friends, you know, weird ass names, and I'm not fighting people.
Right.
I'm just saying, hey, look at my hair's purple, you know, or some stupid shit like that. You know, it's always like, and then I'm like, what? I said that? I said, are you sure?
Or it's like, I touched your boob. You know? It's like, I did that? Oh, yeah, I did that. It's so funny.
But anyways, so our point was really about, you know, our bitching, I guess, is that if you can't control your liquor or you can't control your anger, emotions,
your passion,
your shit, don't go to events.
Yeah.
Get your shit together. Or, you know, limit yourself. Just say, okay, I know where I'm at. I want to have a good time. Let's just, you know, kind of say 2 or 3 beers or 2 or 3 drinks, and let's leave it at that because I want to have a good time, you know? Everybody has to do their own thing and make their own decisions, but we're talking from our experiences. We will always talk from our experiences and the people we care about, you know?
Well, and I think part of the bitch too is like, if I don't want to be wrapped up in something with that, as far as like I'm over here on the side and then all of a sudden I'm bumped into and then I get knocked over or whatever.
Or remember in Texas, we have guns.
Yeah.
We have knives. People
It's
like pull out shit.
here.
And, you know, look at the guy who was pissed because she was tailgating. She wasn't even like flipping him off. She wasn't saying anything.
No.
She was just driving a little too close to him because maybe she was in a hurry to get to work and now she's gone.
Yeah.
You know, so it may not be a shove or a push. It could be a stab or a gunshot or whatever else. Or they can leave, go to their car, get something, and come back, and then start shooting up the whole place. How many times have have we seen that? You know, in different places. So
talk about the road rage, Unhinged with Russell Crowe.
Oh, I love him.
It's kind of hard to watch because I like him in Gladiator. Like he's like to die for, right? He's a moan in itself. But he's in this movie, and it's the same kind of thing where he had a whole bad day. I mean, a whole thing going on before, and then it's a car thing. Somebody honks at him, and then all of a sudden now he's chasing this person, and it's a whole thing.
It's a good movie. It's really good. It kind of makes you think like, oh shit, I don't think I want to beep at anybody again.
I don't think I want to drive anywhere, but it's the same type of thing. It's about how somebody can be carrying baggage wherever they're going, and one little thing sets them off, and it turns into this whole chain of events. So I think that's kind of with all of that.
Yeah.
It's like anything can set somebody off, and then you're in a mess. So.
The other day I was driving down my road close to my home, and I live near a high school, and so I was driving, and this car cuts me off completely, and I'm like, so I honk, and there's 2 people in the car, and the person in the passenger seat comes out and, you know, gives me the middle finger out the window. And I was like, whatever, you know. So, of course, we pull up to the light, and it's 2, like, high school kids. And so I kind of look over to see who they were. And the one kid driving has his vape, and he's, like, vaping in the window going, and I'm like, you're a child, you know. I was like, what am I going to do? Like, start yelling at him and screaming at him?
His brain isn't even formed yet.
It hasn't. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. And then I look like a Karen if I'm sitting there yelling at a kid. But did I want him to cut me off? No. Be careful how you're fucking driving, you know. But I wasn't going to start a whole big thing. I'm just like, you're just not worth it, you know. To me, it's not. I have more things to be worried about. But okay, so that's our bitching. Let's talk about our moaning real fast.
So do you want to do your moaning first?
You go first.
I usually go first.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay, I'll go first.
I usually go first. So.
Okay. So, I was thinking of a moaning, and I'm like, let me change my mind because I love these documentaries or these series of like murders and serial killers and kidnapping. Don't tell me, everybody loves those shit. That shit, they really do. Yeah. People love watching that stuff and solve unsolved mysteries and all that. Yeah. So I found one the other day on Hulu, and it's called Killer Confessions, Case Files of a Texas Ranger.
Oh my God.
So this it's all about Texas murders and stuff that happened in Texas.
Wow.
So it was kind of wild because they put up cities, and I'm like, oh, I lived in that city. Oh, I know where that's at. Oh my God, I've seen that before. And and some of the places you've seen.
by that.
I know, like it's so crazy. But it's this. So all these killings happen, whatever, and they call this. I keep calling him a super Texas Ranger, and my husband's starting to get pissed off. He's like, why do you keep calling him that? I'm like, because he's super. His name is James Holland. Good looking man.
Oh.
He's probably around my age or whatever, but he's retired now. But boy, he's a good looking tall drink of water with his cowboy hat.
Oh gosh.
Oh, and his belt buckle, and he got his his
that's
little
a
Ranger.
weakness for me.
You're gonna like.
Oh,
You're gonna
gosh.
watch it.
I'm gonna go home and start watching that immediately.
And what he does is he's retired, but what people do is they call him because he is a great kind of like. I wouldn't like say negotiator, but he gets people to admit all the stuff that they've done. And so like when police or detectives go into those rooms with people and say, okay, we know you were there, we have your fingerprint, they're like, my lawyer, give me my lawyer. Or they're like, I wasn't there. This guy has a way of having everybody he talks to confess.
What is it they call, like, with animals? They're the whisperers?
Yes.
He's the confession
Oh,
whisperer.
he is a super Texas Ranger. Oh my God. I was asking my Alexa, I changed my Alexa's name because it's a man now. And I told him, just talk to me. Don't talk to anybody else. His name is Ziggy. Ziggy and I have a relationship now. And but anyways, so I would literally have to stop and start asking questions about this guy and about the Texas Rangers and like where their jurisdictions are. And I was like so into it, but it is really good. It's a series, so there's several of them, and I love him. And I think my husband's a little jealous about my super Texas Ranger, but he watches the shows with me, so it's kind of funny. But yes, if you can, it's on Hulu, and I love it. I hope he does more than because, he is retired now, but he has there was one from 1968, even before he was born. It was a cold case, and they asked him to help.
That's amazing.
And it's just amazing the way he works, and how he talks to people. So
is he? Could he be a free pass?
He's too close to home. Don't even.
I know. There's
that would be nice though. But
celebrities you never run into are like your free pass. That's why I was like, this one's kind of close to home, not close to home.
He's in the Decatur office.
No free pass.
He's close to home. And but if I ever need somebody, I would call my super Texas Ranger.
Help me.
No, he's very, very talented though. I don't know if he's married or not. I just started watching it this week, so I haven't really dug into social media or if he even has any of that. But it was very fascinating. It has been, and I still have a few more episodes to go. So that was my moaning, my little tall cowboy. My little Ranger. Yeah,
kind of a segue into tall cowboys. So, my moan is actually my husband. And you knew this was going to come at some point, right? So, kind of talked about our relationship a little bit, 3 years now over time. But, when I first met him, he had the cowboy hat and the jeans and the boots and a tall drink of water. It's like we like to say in Texas. He's got that distinguished, jawline that's kind of, more square-like, just rugged, right? So I was, in love from day one. But anyway, as our relationship has carried on, it's like...
blossomed.
Yes, over the last couple of decades, it's like he is my safe place.
Yeah.
And all the relationships before that, no matter what it was, psychological, emotional, physical, everything, there was always something where I couldn't fully trust somebody. And I like to, he's my home now.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, it sounds corny when people say that,
Mm-hmm.
but it's true. When people say they find their person, it feels like you're a full person now
Right.
in their home. And so he's my moan. And then in other parts along with that is not only feeling safe, as my love language changed over time.
Mm-hmm.
As I aged, it used to be I used to have to hear everything, but a lot of it had to be insecurities and things like that.
So
like
you need words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's acts of service.
Yeah.
So he has a saying where he says, about being, if they can't find you handsome, they need to find you handy. Well, he's both, and
he is
he
both.
can fix anything. And so I've had him
And he's
in the
very
house.
smart,
Yes,
very smart
yeah,
man.
he's so. That's another. I think with your husband
Yeah.
and mine, they're just extremely intelligent. Which that's another thing as I've aged. It's like intelligence is.
Yeah.
Oh. But I'm having to do all kinds of stuff in the house. I have a honey-do list. He's like, whatever you want, just stay out of my office in the garage. I'm like, okay, I want a light fixture. I want the fireplace redone. But he is just my safe place. I feel at home, and I just adore this man. He's not on a pedestal, because you can't put anybody on a pedestal, right? Nobody's perfect. I know he's not perfect, but he is perfect for me.
He takes good care of you.
Yeah, and I just think,
There was a time we all went out. I hang out with my kids a lot, my crew, and we're all always together and stuff. But there was one time we all went out, and they were just like, they had been talking to your husband for quite a while or whatever, and they're like, wow, he's really interesting. He has a lot of interesting things to talk about and say, and he's really smart. And because when you're in big functions, you might talk just in general, but then when we go out to dinners or have more intimate settings, that's when they're able to talk. And so I was like, yep, that's why that's one of the reasons, many reasons she loves him. So I thought that was kind of cool that they got to know him a little better.
Yeah, so my husband is my moan for all kinds of reasons.
Yeah, he makes her moan.
Naked coffee was fun.
The nude coffee.
Yeah, we had talked about that in another podcast. Naked pizza and naked coffee. So.
That's right. So I think that's all we have, because I'm empty.
Well, we do have one more thing, kind of an announcement coming up, as we were thinking about year 2. Something that we're going to start doing maybe once a month, I think, is kind of go back to our roots where this all started. And we're going to be taking it to the hot tub. And, it's so funny. When we go to the hot tub, it's like you sit in the hot tub and it's like a truth serum or something. The
Wonder Woman lasso is around the hot tub for some reason. And all truths come out.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure the alcohol helps. Yeah. But we have a great time.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I don't look my best in the hot
No.
tub. You probably won't be looking at my hair anyways.
Yeah.
But, maybe I'll put a hat on. But my hair gets all
We
wet.
still look amazing. Look at 4th of July.
So, we were crazy 4th of July.
Yeah.
But I think we're going to do it at least once a month. We might have some guests come, because people like to hang out at the hot tub. But we'll do it once a month and just kind of let loose. Maybe not so much bitching, but maybe more moaning than anything.
Yeah, we like to do sometimes little games, card games, that it's kind of like questions. Would you do this or this, and why? And it's like no judgment in the hot tub, so whatever comes out, comes out. And
listen, and we don't judge.
Yeah, we laugh. It's like we get hysterical out there, and it's just a great time. So we thought, you know what, let's go back to our roots and bring the hot tub into our podcast now, and hopefully y'all will enjoy that. And
we met some great girls at the Pauly D concert.
Yes,
Shout out to all the girls we met out there. They were amazing. We got some numbers, and we'd love to have them come out, because they can always give a different perspective of what's going on in the younger generation. Because they were a little bit younger than us, but they were beautiful and so cute, and so
we were all matching in cheetah. It was like at the Pauly D. I don't know if we were all bringing out our Snooki, trying to feel like Snooki, but we all had some kind of cheetah or leopard. So we took a bunch of pictures and met these girls. Everybody becomes everybody's best friend in the bathroom with women,
of course.
So
which I love in Texas. I love it. I love it. We'll put pictures. We'll put videos for you guys to see our little adventure from the Pauly D concert, and he's amazing. If you ever get time to see him, he's just
big shout out to him. It was so
energy,
much fun.
yeah.
The energy. I don't know how he does that.
He's amazing.
Night after night after night, because I would be like exhausted.
Yeah.
It's like I got to take a night off and sleep.
I don't think he's a big drinker. If he drinks,
I don't really see him.
If anything, like the energy stuff, you know, because you see him when like during the Jersey Shore shows, when they go to see him, he's like, okay, I got to get ready, but you don't ever really see him drinking or anything like that. So sometimes that, you know, again, the drinking, balance it out, you know, not telling you all to quit drinking. We're just saying balance your shit out. That's all.
Yep, exactly.
So we'll leave it on that note. Good things to come. We hope you guys enjoyed the Bitchin Moanin session today, and we will see you
next time.
All right, bye.
Bye.